This is Jonathan St. James, and you're listening to The Truth is Still Straight podcast.
Thank you for tuning in. This is Jonathan St. James. As you heard in the intro, this is The Truth is Still Straight podcast. Yeah, and I'm going to start the show off with giving a shout out to the co-hosts who couldn't be here: LaDonna Marie, Donna M. Kane, Donnie St. James, and Jim. All right. And then I'm going to give a shout out to those who support the show. And that's Pedro Falcone, Tatiana Cruz, Lee Jones, Tessie, Sister Millie from the West Coast, V, Mr. Wilkes, Mahir, Milton Gonzalez, Beverly, and Snotty. Thank you for your support. And again, thank you for liking, subscribing, all who comment. I appreciate everything that you do for the show. Okay, so we're about to get started here. We're going to talk about a reaction video tonight of Kevin Samuels, and the episode is going to be called Smart Women Cancel HBO. And it's an episode that appeared about 2 weeks ago, 15 days. And we're going to start from an hour and 25 minutes and about 19 seconds, so just about somewhere around there. And the conversation is going to be with a 42-year-old. Okay, so what's going to happen? He's going to introduce a 42-year-old woman named Ariane. I'm not 100% sure, but and he's going to finish a conversation with another woman, 45 years old, no husband, no kids, no boyfriend, no relationship. I think that's about an extremely outrageous standard, and you will understand what I'm talking about when I show the video. So let me start, cue that up, and we can get the show on the road. Let's start it now.
Years.
Yeah.
Why was you said the younger you wasn't willing to deal with boredom, but the older you is? What is that? Explain what you mean.
I mean that any relationship, whether it's with your husband, your mother, your father, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have times where you don't like them. But at the end of the day, that's your family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your husband. And you made a commitment and you need to work it out.
How does your child?
16.
Okay. Are you done having children?
I am.
All right. And y'all got married. Does your husband have any kids?
No.
Okay. And you guys are married for 2 years?
Yes, we've been together for 10, but married for
10.
10 years, yes.
10 years. Why did it take 8 years before y'all got married?
I know I'm going to get it for this, but...
Emotional damage.
So what's going to happen here is she's going to explain what happened, right? She's going to explain what happens, but I want you to listen very clear as this turns into
this is a certified hood classic.
And she's going to explain, and we're going to get into that. I just wanted to stop it here because she has the classic argument of why she waited to get into a relationship, a marriage, I should say.
Let me get the soundboard ready for you.
I wanted to finish school first.
Oh,
I'm a PhD.
What's your degree in?
I have an associate's degree.
That takes 2 years.
Right.
Huh?
That takes 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had prerequisites.
What?
What did you have a prerequisite to climb Mount Gibraltar? I mean, come on, it's 2 years.
Well, we didn't get engaged until I was approaching starting the program.
Oh, so y'all together 10 years.
Yes.
You've been married for 2, but you didn't want to get married until you finished your associates. Well, okay, so because I don't know what was the logic behind that?
Yeah.
The logic for me was I was not looking forward to going back to school, and I used marriage to him as an incentive, as a motivator for me to finish school.
Come on, man.
So it's like
So,
for getting my associates,
Let me stop it there. This lady's all over the place because you really causing one problem to solve another problem. And I don't get that, but it is what it is. And clearly it didn't work out for her because she's not with the guy now. And that's definitely what I want to discuss is proper investment in your personal life. I don't even think she properly invested in her occupational life, nevertheless, her personal. But let's continue.
the reward is marriage.
well, for me, that was my train of thought at the time. Yes. It was, this is something that I want, so let me do this thing that I don't want, and then, or that I didn't want to do, and as a reward, then I would, focus on.
Did your husband ever want?
You heard that? Say it again, Steve Harvey.
Oh, hell no.
So she sounds very conflated with her incentives to finishing school, that she said she was going to hold off marriage, but it took her longer than usual to get married. So I don't know what's going on there. It sounds like she's very confused in her own decisions, but she could, because she didn't get married right away. So she finished her associates in to take 8 years. She said it took 8 years to get married. So I'm trying to understand how the math is off like that. I'm hoping that I was about to say Steve, Kevin asked her that question, but let's see.
Any children?
Huh?
Did your husband? Did he ever want kids?
No,
He never wanted his own kids.
no. I would have
Okay.
gave him some, but
All
no,
right.
he did not
So-
want any.
So I'm always curious. Why black women seem like y'all are terrified of marriage? Because to say, you know what, let me put off a marriage when we're already the lowest rate of married women out there, so I can give myself an incentive to finish a 2-year degree. What if he just said okay and left you the next day, no question? I mean, straight up left, ghost, no contact, gone.
At the time, I was thinking, because school was so hard and so rigorous, that if my relationship survived, then it was meant to be. That was my train of thought then.
So see,
No cap.
Lady. Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
What is wrong with you? A 2-year degree was too hard for you? So if going to school is hard, I could only imagine how hard marriage was for you. Seems to be something really going on with this woman. It's not very, very, very not very normal, if I could use that word, but definitely she suffers from
Emotional damage.
But hopefully this discussion gets better and she says something that's worth paying attention to, but I'm not sure, but we'll see.
I want you guys to understand, men, black men. This is why I say sell out to femininity, because none of this stuff makes any sense. You guys put so many impractical, burdensome, and outright foolish things on marriage to where if it doesn't work, you can say it just wasn't meant to be. This is why I say you're home wreckers. So if I'm correct, he's like, well, if he would have left me, then it wasn't meant to be.
Should I get him? Should I get him?
Yes,
Wow, man. You're honest, but damn.
I am.
So,
And I would,
so do you realize how that low that says y'all value us?
Mm-hmm.
how low it sets.
How low,
Women's
how low black women, that communicates black women value black men. Because again, ma'am, you have an associates, and what's your associates in?
Nursing.
And I mean no
Oh
disrespect, I really
my.
don't. But it's not
I
like
know
you're
how you
talking
feel about
about
nursing.
getting nuclear. You're not like you're talking about nuclear physics or something from Princeton or MIT. You talk about a degree you can get at DeVry or something, man. Nursing. And I'm saying this to put a little levity into it to say that
Bruh.
you're not uncommon. A lot of women will be willing to risk a relationship for a man.
Got him.
It is so true. It's unfortunate that a lot of, and you hear it all the time, that women will push back everything personally for schooling and a career or a job, depending on what they're doing. But the problem with all of that is during that time, you're diminishing your sexual marketplace value and right, your sexual marketplace value. Yeah, you're diminishing that, and then you're expecting a guy, once you're ready, willing, and able to settle down and get married, to have the same fervency and zeal to be with you that he would have when you were 20, 23, 24, 25. You were early and fresh.
Aha.
And that's just not right. It doesn't happen like that. And you got to realize that. So you're setting yourself up for disaster the longer you wait, because you're asking someone to look at you as brand new when you're not. You've had failed relationships, you've had whatever drama. If you had kids, you had kids. Your age, your body doesn't look the same. If we're talking about even somebody you met in the past, but you're asking somebody to come behind all of that and then treat you and bring a lot to the table. Treat you well and bring a lot to the table. And that's not very easy to do. So let's see what else he's saying over here.
You can unmute yourself, Antoinette.
Back to
Because
Antoinette.
I left you unmute. Hold on, let me ask you to unmute. Yeah, women are told fairy tales in life, and y'all are told that men are just supposed to do all this stuff. Go ahead. Hello.
May I interject for a moment?
Go ahead.
The reality check that I've come to this conclusion: we were misinformed as girls,
Mm-hmm.
and we grew up into women who continually be misinformed, because what I'm hearing from not only your platform but from just in general, men want extremely feminine women. So to be sweet and to be kind and to listen and all those great things that have nothing to do with a degree. And what I'm understanding is, if you're super feminine, you'll get the man, he'll take care of you, he won't leave you, but you got to do your part. And that's the part you have to do. You have to be feminine, you have to be kind, you have to be sweet. But we're told, go get the degrees.
Who told you? You
Self-sufficient,
told
do
that
all
by
these
who?
things.
Hold on. Who told you that though? We said we were told
And
this. Who told us that?
parents, be self-sufficient.
Which
Go
parent?
get the
Which parent?
degree.
Which parent? Which parent?
The mother, typically.
Okay, so you say we were told. Y'all need to go back to who told y'all that.
I agree with that. And I mean, I know fathers that do it too. For some reason, they've told, I'm not sure why that is. The parents, not just mothers, fathers do the same thing, because I've heard some fathers tell that to young ladies. or tell me they tell that to their kids. Oh, go to school, have fun, get a career, then settle down in your 30s. But again, I've said this on a previous show. The problem with that thinking is how many women are virgins, right? Let's put it that way. Not many, not many. There are some that get married as a virgin, but very few. But what are you doing in the meantime? You got a boyfriend, got a boyfriend, got a boyfriend, got a boyfriend. And then you find out what's happening with these relationships. There's sex, having sex. Sometimes they have kids. So, again, youth, beauty, femininity, those are things that matter in attraction to men, not careers, not money. Because when you're young, you tend to want somebody who's established, even older women. So, what does a man find attractive? Because if you're looking for a man to be a provider, protector, those type of things, to check everything on your list, what do you think he needs in you? Because you're not supposed to be the provider in your book. So why would he be attracted to your job? The only men that are attracted to careers and success in women would be men who don't have success, because they're going to need you to help them out.
Aha!
Let's see what else he's saying.
Men don't have any part in the reason why mothers tell their daughters to go. And oftentimes I've had on this panel that women who were married have told their daughters to become independent, but then they wouldn't give up their lives. And my point is, now gas is almost $6 a gallon. It ain't a game no more. It ain't, and all these things that y'all are doing is like, well, I'll wait and I'll do this, I'll do that. Why are we the only community that waits so long? Our marriages last so short, and then the women are still like, feel like they got all the time in the world and optimism. It confuses us as men. I'll bring in Tina. Tina.
Good point, Kevin. So why does that happen? I wish somebody could really pound for pound give an answer and they could stick with the majority of people. But you would hear so many times women say that they do it because it's a possibility that their relationship won't work out. And of course, when you think like that, that's a stupid way of thinking. And it's probably going to lead to it not working out. You have to move in the direction of working out. And that's a problem because so many people are geared to not working out that it often not works out. So that's really what you're faced with. You're faced with people who just refuse to make things work, make it work. Everybody's so quick to run away and end the relationship that it's seldom healthy.
Your audio is not connected. Go ahead.
Where do you think, because I definitely agree with her as far as it was instilled in me by my mother and my father to get my education first and then think about
she said her
family.
father.
So where do you think that did the disconnect?
Okay, were your mother and father married? Were your mother and okay? Let me make sure. Was your mother and father married?
No.
Oh, I see what's going on. Hold on. I see why they can't hear me. Testing. Can you guys hear me better now?
Yes.
Oh, beautifully, beautifully.
Right.
Yes.
It just jumped out of your mother and father were not married.
Correct.
Okay. That's why were your mother and father not married?
To my understanding, because of infidelity on his part.
So your mother had a child before she married her okay. So,
Yes.
have you ever got your father's side of the story from his mouth?
Yes.
Okay. Part of the problem is because we're all Generation X. So many women in Generation X bought into the feminism movement and told their daughters to get out and get a degree in this other stuff. But that does not mean get out and get a degree and then wait about getting a man down the line. Where are you supposed to get him?
Oh, hell no.
So, when people say the generational curse, a lot of times a generational curse is created by these very same things. Back then, women didn't have these great, well-paying jobs and college degrees and stuff like that, but they did have these things. So a lot of times, you would have parents who would tell their kids or their daughters, get an education, don't settle down, be independent because your relationship may not work. So they speak from their own experience and they pass it down. And it creates a dichotomy for disaster because you have parents telling that to kids and mothers telling that to daughters, fathers telling that to daughters. So you have these men and women who tell this, a lot of times women, but men too, who tell this to their daughters, and their daughters end up believing it. And before you know it, relationships not working out because the mindset is you don't need a man, take care of yourself, things like that. Now, can you survive without a man? Absolutely. For the most part, but the family line doesn't continue without someone to reproduce and have a family with. And I find that just to be very difficult if you're always telling people, wait, wait, wait. And as I said in previous episodes, I know women who now have come to the point in their lives where they're much older and at risk of not being able to carry children and close to menopause. And now their family, mother, father, and daughters, their family line, their branch is dying out, and there will be no one left to carry the name on that particular branch of the tree once they die off. Once the two daughters die off, they won't be able to continue the family tree. That branch dies off. So it's very unfortunate the way things happen.
You weren't, it's not the degree, it's you were not raised to partner or work with a man. You weren't even raised to learn how to do this. You think about what it like for you, Ariane. Is that it?
Arian.
Okay, Ariane. What did your mother raise you to do for a man? What did she tell you you're supposed to do for a man? Hi, Tina. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thanks for
Go ahead.
asking.
Go ahead. What did your mother tell you, raise you to say? This is your duty for your man. This is what you're supposed to do for your man.
She told me a lot of what not to do. The biggest
It's always a starting point. They always tell her what not to do. What did she tell you to do?
She told me to put my husband first before the rest of my family. Once I'm married, to put him first.
My detector test determined that was a lie.
Okay. There's a conflicting story there. So she told you to put your husband first before family, but your husband last before getting an education and a career as a nurse. So she told you a couple of conflicting things. And so now at this point in your life,
I'm fighting for my life.
42 years old, lady above you is 45 years old, single. Both of those ladies, the one with the sideshow bob haircut and the one under her that was just talking, 45, 42. Single. That's a sad situation right there. I don't know about the other lady on the show. I know about those two because they just talked on that. I don't know about Tina, but I know Ariane and Antoinette, single. Antoinette has no kids. Ariane has no man along with Antoinette. And yet they're looking for a guy that's bionic, super. I doubt that. So we'll see what happens because no one's coming over to do that. At least it doesn't appear that way. But we'll see how far we can get with this.
Above her and
So,
everyone.
and how are you supposed to get married then?
Well, she pretty much, I guess, left the rest for me to figure
Thank
out.
you. So, in other words, you got this kind of instructions. Here's a bunch of stuff not to do. How do I get a husband? I don't got nothing for that. But once you are married, put him first.
Exactly.
Yeah. She
But then
did
they also
lead
tell
by
you to go to
example.
school. But they also tell you to go to school. Okay, so you weren't taught to do anything for us. So this is when y'all default to sex and babies. But you don't.
Kevin,
Hold on.
May I interject? I'm sorry.
Well, no, because you're not. Well, no. You don't. You're not taught to what you're supposed to do for us, and then you wonder why you can't work. Hey, Tina, how are you? How old are you, Tina?
I'm 32.
All right. Are you married or are you single?
Divorced.
Nah, B.
All right. Any children?
2.
All right. So we're talking about having this boredom. Go ahead.
Trying to stop it, but let me tell you. What's going on here? I don't know what's going on with this. Okay, kind of extended. I'm not sure why that happened, but okay. Extended 10 minutes. Tina, 32, 2 kids, divorced. Again, the dilemma's going on there.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
It's epidemic. It's an epidemic going on in relationships. Women don't know how to get into them. And they complain about the men that they're with, but they pick them. They choose the wrong men. And if they didn't choose the wrong men, they definitely don't work hard at the relationship. And I know that for a fact. Well, not with these women, but many out there, they don't work at their relationships. They become unhappy and then they move on, which to me, I think is stupid. But you can't tell them anything. And then when something happens and it's them you try to point out that make an error, they tell you,
Can I do that?
no accountability. So they need to turn a wrong answer into a right answer and get this going. Let's give Kevin a couple of minutes and then we'll head out because, again, I don't want my audio to shut off.
Okay. This is someone that has been in a marriage, and just from my experience, I think that it's being over glamorized. And I don't think women understand that sometimes excitement is not going to be there. Some days it's just going to be one day after the next, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that it's a bad marriage. It just means you're living life. I just wanted to add something.
That was fire. That was fire. I definitely got to applaud that. For sure, definitely. She was spot on when she said that. Unfortunately, a lot of women don't think like that, and they hit a rough patch, and then they want to move on. They want to let go. They want to get a divorce. They want to kick the guy to the curb. They want to get rid of him. They want to do everything but work it out, and that's the unfortunate part of relationships. So I agree with her. She is 100% right with that sentiment. And there's a saying that women, they want the wedding, but not the marriage or something like that. And that makes a lot of sense, that saying, because a lot of times people get married and they don't look beyond the wedding. And of course, there ends up, because of that, a lot of disappointment. And then with the disappointment comes the move on. And then it becomes very rough. Then divorce comes after that. Okay, I'm going to finish up right here.
Mm-hmm. It's boring. You have a routine. Tuesday soccer practice, Thursday kung fu. I mean, you got a routine. It's boring. It's a job. So you were asking, why did you get the bad information? Women, there's a long theory, but at the end of the day, a lot of women didn't had children before they had a husband. So they had to think in terms of survival. And women were taught to survive without a man. And they thought that telling you going to get a college degree was going to make you more attractive to a man. But this isn't what men pick women on. We pick women based upon your natural role, our support system, femininity. Now, I want to clear up something too. Just because you're a feminine woman does not mean you get a man to take care and buy everything. No.
Nah, B.
Hispanic men, people have men coming across the border illegally who stand out in front of Home Depot or Lowe's or at the day labor centers collect cans. They are at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. But when they go home, they still have feminine women.
Oh my.
Femininity has been taken, and it's something that modern women, especially in our community, use as a bargaining chip. Well, if you give me enough masculinity and perfection, I'll give you, because I don't want to give you what my grandma or somebody else gave. How many of y'all seen The Color Purple? Anybody, have you all seen The Color Purple?
Absolutely. Just watched it the other day.
How many times have you seen it?
Too many times to count.
Okay. In your life, have you ever, how many families, how many Color Purple like relationships have you actually seen in your life?
A good number.
Nope.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Nah, B.
Whether it's women that I see in the community or at church or something like that, you can see it. And,
really?
And when you see the
no, we're talking about Mr. and Miss Seeley.
Oh no. Excuse me, I was incorrect.
What were you talking about then?
I was talking about the Harpo Sophia relationship where she was a super strong woman and he was not. I see that pretty frequently.
You see these women with husbands?
But dysfunctional.
Lady, you failed at that. Again, you failed at that. Sorry. No points for you. So I'm going to end it there. And what he was talking about was conditional femininity. And that's when women say they can be feminine to the right man, which is definitely, it's an outrageous thought to have for a person, because who wants to deal with somebody like that, right? You don't want to deal with somebody that tells you you have to be a certain way for them to be a woman to you.
Oh, hell no.
So anyway, this was a good episode to talk about. I think it's important that people understand dynamics of relationships and their part, and the part that their significant other, mostly husband, boyfriend, fiance, whatever, plays. So it's about that time for the braces. Relationship braces. Bringing hearts together, one heart at a time. Jonathan, you had Tina, Ariane, and Antoinette. Two divorcees, one lifelong single, looking for love. What could you tell them to find it? Jonathan. Okay, here's the thing. So, finding love, how do you do that? Well, how does anyone do that? First and foremost, you have to be able to communicate, because you can't meet someone if you're not willing to meet someone. And I know that sounds very cliched, but very cliche. I don't even know if cliche is a word. But anyway, in order for you to meet someone, you have to have the ability to allow someone to approach you, or even sort of suggest that a man approach you. And how do you do that? Well, go up and talk to him, have a conversation, see if he's interested. And you can tell if a guy's interested by the way he responds to you or comes up to you. Social cues are very important. A lot of women, they don't use them properly. And when they do use them, they use them for the wrong guy. So you must learn how to listen, understand, listen to understand, not listen to reply. Marriage has to be beyond the wedding. And like Tina said, even though she divorced her husband, you have to pay attention because there are ups and downs. You're going to be unhappy at times. Unhappy should never be a reason to end the marriage because there are people who are unhappy in life and they understand that it's a trial and tribulation that you must go through. Now, unless there's some egregious reason for a person to not be in your life anymore, you should do your best to work it out because that's what will cause anything to last later than sooner, if that makes sense. And those are the braces. So I'll tell you one thing. I'm glad none of those ladies will be telling me.
Catch me outside. How about that?
So they'd be good. But I'll tell you one thing, ladies, you need to get it together because I don't know. Tina, Ariane, and Antoinette.
Bruh.
You got a lot going on and not in a good way. So with that being said, it is Jonathan St. James, and I'm about to end this show right here. Once again, the truth is still straight. Thank you for watching, listening, whatever you've done. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, enjoy.